What's up, everybody? Welcome to Saturday morning's Getting Started training. Super excited for all of you that are able to join us today. If you're catching this live, I would love it if you turn your camera on. I see Lizzie over here just always smiling. I love seeing people's smiles, especially if you're dosed up and you're feeling great and you're loving your happy coffee. Today's training is going to be awesome. Why? Because a lot of you might be thinking that you're going to be getting on a training to learn this crazy system and how to do every little thing step by step and all these resources. And guys, my intention and my goal today is to keep it super simple so all of you feel comfortable no matter what your background is, no matter how much experience you have, and no matter how new you are in this process. It's important to understand the simplicity and how to go out there and just simply share your story to inspire other people. So, a lot of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Gavin. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 10 months. The start of January is when I first tried my first sample, and like most of you, I will never forget that first day. I'm 21 years old from North Carolina, and I'm just super excited to be here with all of you today. So, who by a show of hands has had their dose this morning already? Oh, Danny Hurt, you hadn't had your dose yet? Oh, goodness. So if you haven't had your dose, you might want to get on that. That's like step number one, just to make sure you're feeling great. But, guys, so why are you here? That's the first thing you got to ask yourself, and probably one of the most important. Most of you are here for two reasons. Hopefully the first is the first, the second is the second. First reason, you absolutely loved your experience when you tried Happy Coffee because someone shared it with you. And you believed in the product enough to raise your hand and say, you know what, I want to go tell my friends, I want to go tell my family, I want to go tell my coworkers because they deserve to feel this great. And the second reason is because a lot of you are looking for additional income. A lot of you have maybe seen this industry before and never been exposed to the right opportunity, never been exposed to the right product, the right culture, the right leadership. And that's what this is all about, guys. It's just about keeping it simple and giving people a place to feel comfortable to go out there and create success. So really excited you could join us. We got Chris Schweda over here, just kind of peeking in. But guys, so the first thing is you're here because you love the product. And that's the main thing you have to remember. And, if you raised your hand and said, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to share this with people, you have to realize that your story is literally all it takes to go out there and to create success and to inspire other people. So if you haven't yet, really get in tune with how was your life before dose? Before you tried this cup of coffee and the Xanthamax, how was your life? A lot of you are experiencing incredible weight loss. Some of you are experiencing amazing energy and clarity and focus and sleep. Matter of fact, put in the comments in the chat what your favorite benefit is, because your story is what's going to inspire people, not the information. So I want you to think about something. And this is going to hit home with a lot of you. How many times in your life, because we've all been to a coffee shop, right? How many times in your life have you walked in a coffee shop, whether it be Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or a local coffee shop, and the barista told you where the beans are from and every ingredient in the coffee and everything the coffee is going to do? Has that ever happened? No. Why? Because we're already sold on coffee.
I don't even know what a barista is.
I can't spell it. I mean, the thing is, coffee is the second most consumed beverage and the second traded commodity right behind crude oil in the entire world. So many people want to learn all this stuff and learn about what the coffee does and all these things. Guys, people are going to love hearing what it's done for you and what it's done for other people. So if you can get in tune with your story, that's what's important to go share with people. Now, I am going to give you some resources and different things on this Zoom to help you get started and to help you plug in and to help you just see the culture and be a part of all the stories that we've created here as entrepreneurs. But it's just important to remember simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. Guys, I came from a place of wanting to educate people and always, being complicated. And I had to screw it up before I ever got it right. And I think we all have, right? I mean, you want to lead with education. And in most cases, the more you know, the better. But in this industry, it's important to remember if you can help somebody realize they already have within them exactly what it takes to do this, they feel comfortable when they go out and do it. And they share it with other people. Just like Jill says, kiss it, keep it simple, silly. So guys, simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. I wanted to start out with that. So there's a few different things you can do to go start sharing your story. For me, I've loved using social media because in my opinion, if you can speak to thousands of people in the same amount of time that it takes to speak to one, then why not expose that many more people to your story? Does this mean you have to use social media to go out and grow this business? Absolutely not. It's just an added tool that we have and an added resource that we have to take advantage of. So guys, you're getting started. What's the first thing that you do? Well, hopefully you've already gotten a pack and you've already gotten product, because I promise you, and I promise you again, when you start sharing your story with your friends and your family, you will not be able to keep enough product on hand. They're going to say, Gavin, or they're going to say Nicole or Dina or Tina or John or Warren or Shane, how can I try this? Right? They're going to try samples. And if it's anything like I first experienced, they're going to love it. They're absolutely going to love it. But the other thing that's important to realize when you sample this to someone is that they may feel great. They may not feel anything. And it's important to help people realize to have the best experience possible, they should give it a 30-day shot. They should try it with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you're coming into this business, the whole thing to realize here is that you're not having to recruit anyone. The product is doing all the heavy lifting for you. So if you're brand new, the main thing to focus on is customer acquisition. Just go sample this to your friends and family and share your story. Now, when they try it, what's going to happen is they're going to go, wow, I feel great. They're going to place an order through your website link. You have elevocity.com / whatever your username is. But do you think they're going to want to go without it after they try those 2 samples? Are they going to want to wait a week? No. They're going to want to try. They're going to want a week to hold them over. So if you don't have that extra product to act as customer service to help your new person that fell in love with this product, they're going to have to go back to drinking sad coffee for a week. And we all know that sad coffee is nothing like happy coffee. So you want to make sure that you have the extra product on hand. We have some awesome packs. We have a $249 shareable pack. We have a $499 pack that comes with 44 of the individual 2-day shareables. Half of them, 22 of them, are going to be a mix of our Chocolate product, which is great for people that do not drink coffee or don't like the flavor of coffee or maybe sensitive to caffeine. Chocolate's great. And then it also comes with 22 of the 2-day dose packs that's just coffee. And then the $9.99 pack, of course, is for someone that says, you know, I know a lot of people that drink coffee. I want to go out there and share this thing. And, you know, I think I know 80 people that drink coffee. And they go with the $9.99 pack where you get 88 shareables, 44 coffee, 44 mixed. And then, of course, it includes all your tubs and all your extra Xanthamax. So, guys, the first thing you do is you get a pack. You have to have product on hand. You are starting a business here, okay? It's important to realize that without product, it's kind of like having a restaurant. If you have no food to cook, what are you serving? Nothing. So, look, getting a pack, step 1. Step 2 is sharing your story. For me, when I got started, I went on Facebook. I made a Facebook status, and I said, who on my Facebook loves to drink coffee? And you're going to get all these people, me. Now, remember, you don't have to do social media, but what we've found is that those who do leverage social media tend to share their story with a lot more people a lot quicker. So you're going to share your story. You're going to get a lot of people that say me, right? I never, ever, 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 ever put my link publicly on Facebook. Why? Because I want people to have to come through me to get more information. Because by them coming through me, I can navigate the conversation, point them in the right direction, and share stories that are going to pertain to what they're looking for. Are you guys following me of why you wouldn't put your link on Facebook? Cool. So I do everything through private messenger. Social media, the beautiful thing about it is you can attract people. This cup of coffee right here says, this coffee is making me awesome. Okay, so I might post a picture with this coffee cup and me drinking it and say, so thankful for what's in my cup. People are going to go, what's in your cup, Gavin? And I'm going to literally message them, hey, have you ever heard of happy coffee that everybody's been talking about? You ever tried this stuff? They're going to go, no. And I'm going to say, oh my goodness, this stuff suppresses my appetite. I'm feeling amazing. Like, I've just never tried anything like it. Are you open to trying a sample and letting me know how you feel? Any coffee lover that I know wants more coffee. Okay, they do. I promise. No one is going to reject a sample. But if you go nerding out on them and you try to act like a doctor and you're just an everyday average human being, that person's going to go, what are you talking about? So don't be someone you are not. I can't stress enough, if you're leveraging social media, be who you are. Who you are is already enough. Who you are is worthy of having success. Who you are is worthy of inspiring people that are watching you. And if you don't think people are watching, stay in this thing for a few months and see how many people come around and go, oh, that happy coffee stuff? Yeah, I saw you post about it 3 months ago. What's it all about? I'm telling you, social media is basically like your life story on a page that people can get to know who you are. But if you don't share your story and you don't help people know who you are, no one is gonna trust you enough to value what you're saying. So Tara says, what if you really, I need to check these comments here. What if you really are a nerd? Well, here's the thing. If you're a nerd, you're a nerd. Okay? But here's the deal. Most people aren't nerds. And if you act like a nerd, the way I remember it is that if I have a conversation with Chris and Chris can't go share the same thing right after I talk with him, then I said too much. Because I want my person, you have to assume here that everyone you share the happy coffee with is also going to know other coffee drinkers. I mean, that's pretty common sense. Everybody knows coffee drinkers. So here's the deal. I'm going to share my story with Chris. Why would I only share my story? Because I don't have to be trained to know what my experience is. Let me give you guys an example. If you wanted to be an Uber driver, okay, what do you have to know to go be an Uber driver? What do you have to know how to do? You have to know how to drive a car, right? Would everybody on here agree that they know how to drive a car? Yeah? So what does it take to be an elopreneur? The same thing, something you're already doing, sharing your story. If you went to a restaurant and you had a great experience at that restaurant, best service ever, best food ever, newest restaurant in town, you're probably going to go tell a few of your friends, hey, you need to go to that restaurant. Here's the thing. Do you get gift certificates in the mail? Do you get kickbacks? Do you get a free entree next time you go? No. All this industry is sharing your experience and compelling other people to come to a logical decision that this is something that could benefit them too. And that's it. Guys, that's literally it. It's just sharing your story. And if you can remember that and keep that the main thing, and for some of you, it's gonna take complicating it first to realize that it's that simple. It took me a few months. I didn't just get this overnight, but as I plugged into these trainings and I heard from people that were out sharing their story with a lot of people, I started to realize my story is enough. What I've experienced with this coffee is enough. Everybody wants more energy. Everybody wants to lose some weight and feel better. Everybody wants to sleep better. Everybody just wants to be happy. Everyone in the world. And our mission here as elopreneurs is to elevate people's health, wealth, and happiness. Most people want all three. Everyone wants at least one. Okay, so this is a platform to allow you to go elevate everyone's aspect, or different aspects of everyone's life. You want to add something here?
So it was funny. Last night we were out on the boat, and one of our friends, Felina, who came on board actually when Ricky came on board when Ricky came in town and was on the boat, and it was funny. She knows what I'm doing. I mean, her fiance is like my childhood friend we've been knowing each other since we're 5, right? We're like brothers. And, I've been talking about the coffee this whole time. Ricky comes around, shares his story, boom, she enrolls, she realized, hey, I can do this. Right away, starts having success. People start buying. She has people on the coffee. She has people on the Hemplavate. Then she starts to learn stuff, and then she starts to get frustrated because she wasn't growing the same way. Why was she not growing the same way? Because then she started to explain stuff. She started to share what the coffee did and why it does this and that. And then people couldn't make decisions because this is the deal. People if they don't understand everything, they can't make a decision. And if you start explaining science that they don't understand, or you start giving information to them, then now they have to like, well, I have to make a decision based on the facts. So how did we share with her how to do it different? We told her stories. So everything that we do in this business is about stories. It's about stories on how to do the business. It's about stories on how to share the product. So I basically, the other day when we had the leadership Zoom, a friend of mine stopped in, haven't seen him in years, literally, he came over, wanted to try the coffee. Basically, the guy is a very successful business person. If I would have tried to recruit him, it wouldn't have worked, because he's already, hey, I'm busy, I have a lot of stuff going on, not really open to that. But what happened is I made a cup of coffee for him, he drank it, and I told him a few stories on what it did for me, and he's like, you know what, my friend John needs that product because he's blah, 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 and he's telling me a story about why this guy needs to try it. I give him a couple samples he goes home with. He's like, oh, I forgot to drink my coffee. He pours it in some chocolate milk and drank it real quick so he didn't have to heat anything up, poured in chocolate milk, drank it, and about 15 minutes later, he was like, whoa, what in the world? And his friend just picked him up for lunch. And he's like, dude, I just drank this coffee and I feel wild, like I just feel great. And he goes, for about 30 minutes, it was like almost a little too much, and then, not too much, but it was like, he was really feeling it. And then it just bounced out, and he said, I felt it all day long. And it was amazing. Well, then when I talked to him that night, he was at dinner with about 5 other friends. Well, not only did the one friend say they wanted to try it, but then they were talking about it together. And then his other friends, so he's like, I have like 6 people that want to do this. So then he, basically I message him, or I call him back the next day, and he's like, dude, I have like 5 or 6 friends I want to refer to you. And I'm like, he's like, well, how do I get on it myself? I said, well, I said, you can basically go to this website if you just want to get the product. But hey, if you want to get paid for doing what you're already doing for free, just go to this website, which is the Elapreneur site. And he goes, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, that one. And then basically, so he literally went from not wanting, I didn't talk to him about the business. I said, because, and he heard me on the leader Zoom just talking about how we're telling stories. So all he heard is, all we do is tell stories? Yes. So he's telling the story to his friends, how it made him feel, which made them all come up with the natural, logical conclusion that they want to try it as well. So I tell this story to Felina. I said, what did you do in the beginning? And she's like, well, I just told everybody how it made me feel and how this happened and that happened and whatever. And I said, so what has changed? Well, I'm trying to explain stuff. So people get started in this business and they're waiting for us to tell them exactly what to do and how do I do this and what do I do? You already know what to do. So we're talking to Sam the other day, and Sam is like, you know, I just need some direction on exactly how to get this thing going. And I'm like, awesome, you know, hey, we're going to help you out with that right now. So then I started asking him, like, so Sam, tell me, you know, what has you excited about the product? And he started telling me what happened for him and what he experienced and how it made him feel like this and made him feel like that. And I have more clarity and focus and my energy is through the roof. And he's going on and tell me a story. And I'm like, Sam, are you ready? If I tell you exactly what to say, will you copy exactly what I say and then do it? And he goes, yes. And I repeated his story to him. I just basically told him his own story. And I'm like, so let me, and I started telling the story like it was me. And I was like, oh my God, since I've been on this product, blah, blah, blah. And I repeated back everything that he told me. And then I said, can you do that? And he goes, well, that's my story. I said, exactly. I'm like, you don't need to be trained on what to do. You already know. You just sat there. I wanted to enroll again when you shared your story. And then basically he realized, hey, this is just telling stories. It really is just telling stories. So again, Felina, we're in the boat. And I get Sean and Kim on the phone. And next thing you know, they're telling the story of how they told stories to a nerd, to a person that, what I'm saying a nerd, because I'm taking the nerd as you want a lot of info and details and all that. And they did this with someone that has been in the industry that had a list of stories. I mean, not stories, a list of questions. I have this question, this question. So he just gets on the phone and tells them the story of how they got started, what attracted them, how he went to the home office, and what he felt, right? Just told the story. And then basically the girl at the end of the call, she goes, you know what? I had this notepad full of questions, and you pretty much answered all my questions. So how do you do it if you're a nerd? You tell your story. How do you do it if you're very detail-oriented? You tell your story. What if they have a bunch of questions? That's a great question. I don't know. All I do know is when I drink this stuff, I feel absolutely amazing. Do you know anybody wants to feel amazing? Well, I want to feel amazing. Awesome. Well, hey, we have a 30-day trial. You can try it, boom, and see how you feel. You know what? This is a great thing about this. Hey, it may or may not work for you, but for most people, they feel amazing on the product. In 30 days, you'll know if it works or not for you. And the cool thing is we're only talking about 40 bucks, 80 bucks, or whatever. So then Sean tells another story. He tells another story. He tells another story. By the time Felina picked it up, and then she realized that even in the training that he was sharing with her on what to do, it was a story after a story after a story after a story. Guys, people think in pictures. You can give them all the facts and details, and they have no idea what you're saying. We are looking at like a TV screen. When somebody's telling us something, we're visualizing things in our brain. Think about it. When someone's talking to you, you're imagining and creating a mental picture. So when you tell stories, one, you keep your attention. Number two, they can relate with that. And then what happens, they come up with a natural, logical conclusion that, hey, if it worked for them, it will probably work for me. So let me try it. And it's really that simple. So then when you're doing it like this, what also happens is they felt no pressure. So then what happens when you're trying to get them to do the business, they don't want to do the business. They push back. But what if all you do is tell stories and they realize that you didn't even do anything? Like, I could do that. Just like you don't have to learn how to drive a car because you already know to drive for Uber. You already know how to tell a story. So that person's going, I already know how to do this. I could do this. And then when you tell them, if they say, well, how does the business work? It works great. You tell your story, give them a sample of coffee, and basically, if they have questions, you just tell them more stories and it answers their questions.
So guys, let me share something with you. This guy in a blue shirt, I don't really know his name, but one time I was doing this team call, and he drank this coffee. And literally, when he got on the team call, I mean, he was pretty low energy because we were up late the night before. And, I mean, you know, he started off the team call pretty good. But then as the team call went on, the training call went on, he was just jacked up. Like, the coffee kicked in. Boom, that's Chris. I just shared a story. So the point is, you don't even have to share your own story. Share other people's stories. What was the cycle we were talking about last night? When you're first getting in this, when you're sharing with other people, you're going to share the person that introduced this to you. You're going to tell their story because that's the story they told you. And then the next part of the process is you're creating your own story. And what happens when you create your own story? You go out and you share it with other people, and you create other stories with people that you shared your story with. So guys, you're in the business of not selling coffee, but of sharing happiness and creating stories. My Facebook profile, you know what it says that I do for a living? Story creator. Not elopreneur, not distributor, not salesman, not network marketer, story creator. Why? Because we're constantly creating stories. And when you get that, and when it resonates with you, you'll go out there and your heart will be set on fire to share this with the world. Guys, we have a mission. Our mission isn't to go out and make a bunch of money. For some people, sure, they want to change their life financially. But the average person, $500 a month would dramatically change their life. It would give them a better life to give to their kids. It would give them more flexibility to not be stressed at the end of the month. That's what this is about. This is about helping the person that's never won, that's never created success. It's helping that person go out and do that. And how is someone going to be inspired to do that? By helping them realize their story is enough. Guys, when we complicate it, when we talk about all the resources and this process and this system and this and this and that, does the mom that works 70 hours a week just to barely be able to put food on the table, do they feel like they can do it? No. But if they feel like all they have to do is share their story, they'll go out and they'll do it. And you just let that sink in. Just really realize, if nothing else from this entire Zoom, because I'm going to touch on a few resources that we have, but up to this point, you know what you need to know. You know everything you need to know to go out and do this to any scale that you want to do it. Whether that's a few $100s a month to pay your phone bill, or it's $500 a month to cover your electric and your water and your phone bill, or it's $1,000 to cover your mortgage, or maybe you want to supplement your income to have more time with your family and do the things you love. It doesn't mean you hate your job. It doesn't mean your job is bad. It means that you want to spend more time doing what you love. And that's what this is about. It's about helping people's dreams come to fruition and us giving them a platform. How much easier does it get, guys? Coffee? 80% of the world is already doing it every morning before they ever met you. So, I mean, I think I read a statistic the other day, 39% of people have admitted that they would be willing to give up their cell phone, literally, give it up, just to make sure that they still have their coffee. The other beautiful part about when someone drinks happy coffee, I know, look at those eyes right there, Chris, you see that? She's like, what? She's like, what? I want to give up my cell phone. I don't even know where I was going. Chris got my energy through the roof, so if it's a little too much, I'm sorry, the dose is kicking in. But look, you got what it takes. I'm going to say it 100 times before the end of this call, because you already got what it takes. I don't care what you come from. I don't care what you think you're capable of. Guys, this is it. It doesn't get any easier and more rewarding than this. Now, a couple resources we have. What we have found is that the people that plug into the extra resources tend to move faster than those who don't. Does it mean that you have to be on every call? No. But every one of you, all 141 of you, raised your hand and said, I'm going to be on the 11 o'clock Central Time training because I want to go out there and I want to share this. It's a Saturday. There's many people who are doing other things that they prioritize, but you guys are prioritizing how to go out and share your story. 9 a.m. for Leo. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah. So look, what do you have to grow even more? This. You have Saturday morning trainings. We have a team call on Monday nights at 9 o'clock Central Time, 9 p.m. Central Time, to where we're all fired up and we're sharing stories and we're talking about what we're excited about and we're talking about where we're going. People want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And we're giving them that. And we're helping people feel a part of a team with a vision that's all on the same mission to go out and spread happiness. Literally spread happiness with the world. It's something everybody wants. So the resources are different things that you can plug into really just to keep you accountable. Kind of like at a job, you have meetings. You don't miss those meetings, but you know, or some people do, but you know that if you go, you're going to get extra value. You're going to learn something, and that's going to fuel you and fuel your success. So we got a couple really awesome things. The Zoom calls are phenomenal, okay? If you can't get them live, that's perfectly fine. Hey, life happens. People do dinner. People got church. People got all these different things. It's fine. We have a replay of all our Zooms. ZoomReplay.com. Chris Schwade's YouTube channel. Check it out. If you miss them, make sure that you go back and watch them if you want, if you have time, if you can. Share them with your teams. That way everybody can actually see how awesome it is to be a part of this. Okay, the next thing you have is whoever brought you and introduced you to the Ellepreneur community here, or maybe a couple levels up, you just got to do a little bit of digging. They have a group they can add you to, whether it's a customer page or a prospect group. What are those groups for? Story sharing, okay? Story sharing. So not only can you share your story verbally, not only can you share your story through social media or through a live video if you feel comfortable doing that, which is also a great tool that you have. If you hadn't done that, we found that if you do, you reach a lot more people. But you have these pages to share stories, to go tag your friends, to add them to it. So make sure you get with the person that brought you into this and say, hey, where's that group that they were talking about on that training? I want to make sure I'm in that because I want to read all the awesome stories. And you're going to see so many different stories from all different types of people. Okay, so tons of awesome resources. Am I missing anything? What am I missing? Something. We've already covered in the first 5 minutes what you need to know.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Sunday. Thursday, Sunday. Okay, guys, 8 o'clock Central Time, 8 p.m. on elevate2happy.info. Okay, instead of .com, which is what brings you in here, you go to .info, elevatetohappy.info. We have what we call a product and opportunity presentation. You know what half of it is? Just sharing stories. Just sharing stories. What's the other half? Showing people that by doing what they're already doing, they can be rewarded. How do they go get money? How do they go create an income? Just share their stories. Just share their stories. So, like, it sounds so simple that you're going, these guys got to be full of it. No, it's literally that easy. The reason you're here is because somebody shared their story with you. So what do you think you have to do to get other people here? Share your story.
So the other day when I was talking to Larry Thompson, he pointed out to me, like, we felt we grew so fast based on a certain reason. And it's funny how anybody that's been here with us for any length of time, the longer we've done it, we kept adding another little resource, another little thing, another little thing. And if you notice, we just reverted back to what we did in the beginning, which was tell the story, get people on the Zoom to hear the stories. And that's really what it's all about. And, you know, we're like, we're going to do these training calls. And we're going to train people how to go out and do it. And we've been, you know, trying to teach people all this stuff. We've been talking about doing personal development and doing all this. And what we realized is that, you know, the way people get better is by doing it, right? So by telling your story and by doing it, you're going to craft on what works the best, on your excitement level or how you felt and all these things. When you're sharing it, that is what you need to work on, not necessarily learning a bunch of skills. You don't need to learn how to go out there and close. You don't need to learn. I mean, it's just really simple. People are going to come up with the logical conclusion, hey, I want to try this stuff. And then when they start telling people about it, you just say, hey, what if you can get paid to do what you're already doing for free? I mean, that's simple. And then basically now they're going, well, how do I do that? By doing what you've been doing, sharing your story with people. That's all we're doing. Well, I don't really have a whole lot of time. Well, you didn't have a whole lot of time when you were sharing the story with people already, did you? No. I mean, don't you? I mean, how much time? Are you drinking coffee either way? Yes. Awesome. Well, what's changed? Nothing's changed. So when you can show people that, so we're going back to the basics. And because we realized it is the stories that go. So this, guys, the trainings are going to get more and more basic as we go through. And you're going to think like, and some of y'all are going to get on these calls and you're going to say, they're saying the same thing. Well, no kidding, because we don't have to keep evolving and changing so where we can, you know, it's a story. But what will change is the stories. It'll be different people's stories. It'll be this story and that story and things that we're learning about ourselves through this whole process. You know, 20 years of me thinking I need to learn this and learn that and all these things. And then all these years, and I come back to the point where I don't need to know anything. Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. We just get fired up and share what we're doing and what it's doing for other people. Guys, we have story after story after story on what the product's doing for people. You master telling the stories, and you will never have to answer a question again. You won't have to know anything because your story is good enough. You're good enough. You don't need to know anything else.
And you know what's crazy is exactly, I don't even know where I was going. I just looked at a comment. Just completely lost it. 11:34. So we covered everything we really need to cover. But I want to add one more thing when it comes to sharing your story that I have found has been a golden nugget to tell other people. Guys, most people aren't happy. Most people are in a bad spot. Okay, whether that means they're not as healthy as they want to be, they're not as wealthy as they want to be, or most importantly, above all, they're not as happy as they want to be. So a lot of times when you're sharing your story, like I'll use myself, for example, and no, this hasn't all happened with the coffee. It started when I started my health journey 3 years ago. I was 60 pounds heavier, but I don't go tell people, hey, I lost 60 pounds. I share where I was. I share how I felt, and I connect with people based on where they're at. Most people are in a bad spot. They're not going to relate to this grandiose, oh my God, I lost 100 pounds, or I just, they don't feel like they're capable of that. So it's important to realize, share where you were and share what you did to get where you are. Share where you were and share what you did to get where you are. That is your story. You can't just talk about the benefit of, oh, I've lost weight. How did you feel when you looked in the mirror? How did you feel when your two-piece bikini didn't fit you anymore? How'd you feel when it was September 22nd and it's fall, the first day of fall, and you're putting on the first pair of jeans to go take a Facebook picture, and you're like, oh, snap, I can't fit in these. I need to do something. And you start drinking this coffee. Share where you were, because that's what's going to inspire people to start their journey to get where you are. Okay? So super important. And guys, the last thing I'm going to leave you with is our mission as elopreneurs is very simple. It's to inspire people and to truly elevate their health, wealth, and happiness. We have a convention coming up. What we found is that people that get to these conventions and that see the vision and that are a part of this culture, so instead of just getting on a Zoom and seeing people's face, you get to meet people. This is about friendships more than it is business. And by you getting to a convention and you seeing the culture and hearing the culture and feeling the culture, you're going to love being a part of this, and you're going to be proud to be an elopreneur. And I can't tell you how many times someone has been a part of this with me, and they're super fired up. Because the beauty is we have products that work. We're not having to lie. We're not having to make things up and sell people. We literally got something that you can say, hey, drink this cup of coffee. The product recruits the person for you. I mean, does it get easier than that? But the cool thing is when you get to convention and you really hear our incredible CEO's vision, and you see all of the amazing leaders that really care, that really truly care about you and your dreams, you just love being a part of that. And we have a convention coming up November 2nd through the 4th in Atlanta. Guys, tickets are $99. We have a full 30 days. If you can get there, great. If you need some help getting there, get with someone. Say, hey, I really want to be there. How can I do it? What can I do to make sure I get to convention? Guys, we'll put you on a Greyhound bus across the country if that means getting you to convention, okay? So, look, if you can get there, great. If you can't, it's okay. Remember, you need to just share your story. But seriously, you're going to want to you're going to want to feel this. You're going to want to be there. We have a little over a month to figure out a strategy or whatever we need to do to get you there. And guys, we're all a team. We all have one dream, one mission, and we're all a part of this together. So with that, I hope you guys got some value out of this training. I hope you realize that maybe you got on this thing thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to learn this incredible system and all these resources and all these little things I can do. Go share what you're experiencing. Tell yourself and understand and feel that you are enough. And the last thing, I know I just said the Elopreneur Convention, go make a dream board. For the first time in your life, realize you have permission to dream. You have permission to navigate your life wherever you want it to go. And it's just like a car. If you don't have the destination keyed in to your GPS, you have no direction. The second your dreams are in place, the second you know where you want to go, and the second that you know what you want out of life and what you don't want to settle for, is the second that your dreams will start to become reality. First you think, and then you feel, and then you do. Boom. And then it's real. With that, you guys, anything else?
One thing I realized when he was saying this, and I'll visit. So when we were in the boat last night, I remember when I shared with Felina his story and how much he was making, and I just watched her eyes glaze over because she didn't believe she could do that. So I want to point out, when you're telling these stories, be conscious of who you're talking to. And the $500 story is way more important than the bigger thousands of dollars story, because most people don't believe they're going to make the thousands anyway. But they will believe they can make the $5. And if you start telling Ricky Durant's story or other leaders on the team story, like, it's good to say, hey, we have had that happen. But if you focus in on the number, they can't see that. They don't make that in a year, many people. So they can't visualize that in a month. So you want to make sure that you're focused in on sharing the little stories. The little stories. He had mentioned that when it came to the weight loss. Well, it's the same thing with the financial stories, because most people would be tickled to death to make an extra $500 a month. Freedom, flexibility, fun, and something easy they can do.
Have fun.
Good night, everybody.
Have fun.
Good day.
Keep it simple, and you're going to create magic, guys. Hope you got some value. Share this with your teams. having a wonderful Saturday, and we'll see you all, I don't know when, but y'all have a great day.